really have this big plan. They send them to me, and I just retweet them, so I didn't know who the guy was.
It is the first day of December. On the day of the World Cup draw, this is the group of death, certainly, Friday 4. Outside the lines, we got a lot to talk about. Ryan Smith just hoping and wishing on those Eagles Super Bowl tickets.
Please.
Kate Fagan sharpening her blade, her skate blade.
Yes.
She's going to talk about Tanya Harding, whom Jeremy Schaap has always believed was simply a misunderstood American hero.
It was a long fortnight in Lillehammer.
Speaking of American heroes on at least 2 occasions, that was the mantle worn by Eli Manning as Super Bowl MVP. Our big story of the week, the mangled decisions at the University of Tennessee with their ongoing comedic coaching search, and in New Jersey with the benching of Eli.
I don't have to make sense of it. This is what it is, and like I said, you got to deal with it.
At some point in time, you have to make hard, tough decisions for the best for the franchise.
I expected there to be an emotional reaction from fans. I would say it's been a little excessive, maybe what I expected.
Nobody says we're moving on from anybody.
That's hard. It's been a hard day to handle this, but hang in there and figure it out.
I was hoping it would turn out a little differently, but he didn't want to do it that way.
Do you feel like you might have started your last game for the Giants? I don't know. I don't know.
We got the Giants, we got Tennessee. If the Giants had tried to do it worse, they couldn't have managed.
No. It was a fiasco.
Yeah.
A farce. It doesn't make any sense. They didn't think it through. You would think in this day and age when, there are crisis management experts and everybody has seen how bad it can get when you bungle it. But this was...
Yeah, you know what? You don't owe them a starting job, but you owe them respect. And that's what they didn't do here. And when you talk about they didn't think it through, what else is there to do than to sit down and think it through and get this right? What gets me is each time somebody in the Giants organization puts it on somebody else, they put it on Eli. Well, we gave him the offer to start and then come out of the game maybe in the second half, but he said no. Now it's his fault. Mara puts it on McAdoo. Well, maybe that wasn't the right way to do it. I would think if all things being equal, if I'm a player, top line free agent, going to New York, all things being equal, different options out there, do I want to play here with these guys? I know McAdoo might not be there, but I'm saying this is no way to run an organization.
And what's confusing is that 6 months ago, this was one of the franchises that when you talk to NFL players, they would say, they would say that it was a good place to play up until 6 months ago.
Well, for decades,
yes.
the Mara family.
They would say, what franchises do you want to go to? Giants would be in the top 3 of most NFL players. And Ryan, what you pointed out there, this plan that Eli supposedly turned down is to start the game and then come out in the second half, right? Like, what athlete wants to go into a game knowing they're coming out at the start of the second half? Now, the plan that could have worked was you're starting the game. You play well, you stay in the game.
But, Kate, that's what you do when you're trying to blame Eli Manning for this.
And then on top of it,
not do what McAdoo says, which is you got to make the hard decision. You're not trying to make the decision. You're trying to make him make the decision and let him give you cover because you know you're out.
And John Mara not even on the premises on Monday when this franchise makes its most substantial personnel change in a generation. It was at a family function, family function, and saying we didn't understand that Eli would not react that way. They said today, Ben McAdoo just said within the hour, I have full confidence that we handle it well in a PR sense. I think we would label that a minority opinion.
Yes, and I agree.
As someone who grew up watching the Giants, I would have been better with this decision if we were actually testing a potential quarterback of the future. Like, if there was a reason for Eli Manning
Geno Smith is not the chef of the future?
The 27-year-old, fifth-year player. Like, I do agree that he hasn't gotten a full fair shake and seeing what he can do, Geno Smith, but why not play Webb? Why not? Others can dispute that opinion, but, like, as a former Giants fan, I want to see Webb then. At least show me the guy who could potentially be the future if I'm willing to sacrifice a guy who gave us 2 of the greatest moments in Giants history.
Former? Have you forsaken them over this?
Wow.
Well, I'm a journalist. Bob, I'm a journalist.
You're allowed to have. There's a beating heart to that exterior of yours.
No cheering in the press box.
All right.
Okay?
Any volunteer fans from Tennessee around the table? Okay. Earlier today, 8 months to the day since he was officially installed as the athletic director, University of Tennessee, John Currie fired as the athletic director. They are I believe for 10. We played Tinder, Tennessee Tinder yesterday. Left, they tell me, Jeremy, you would know better on Tinder, to reject, right to adopt. But they're now, it might be Mike Leach. There's a press conference at 4 o'clock.
Now, we all deserve Mike Leach in the SEC. I mean, that's one thing. If we end up with Mike Leach, I'm willing to forgive everything that has happened so far.
Tell me about Tinder.
Yeah.
I'm
Tinder,
actually
guys.
I'm on Raya, okay? That's a different one. That's a separate conversation.
But Leach in the SEC, it's a higher level of Tinder, they tell me.
Oh, you mean like you have to be like accepted?
Yeah, this is on the rock today.
Wow.
Like if I go in as Jeremy Schaap, I can actually get on Raya?
You definitely get in.
Sweet, okay, all right. That's
How
cool.
about what happened to Greg Schiano on Sunday? It was a digital mob that did him, and on an unsubstantiated, uncross-examined piece of hearsay from a civil lawsuit.
I mean, what would I call this? Something even beyond double hearsay. You have a situation where, as I understand it, Mike McCreary, in a civil deposition, talks about how Bradley told him that Schiano told him that even before the allegations came out.
Sit down. It's
that
not admissible.
I mean, to me, I understand if people in Tennessee do not want Schiano as their coach, but it is innocent until proven guilty. And now, will he ever get a head coaching job again? And do we know that he knew anything? I mean, when you get into this kind of space, I think it's truly scary because it's one thing not to want him in there. It's another thing to tank his career.
Sure. And all those points you made are valid. At the same time, I do understand why people would want to know more about somebody who was at Penn State when this stuff was going on.
No, I understand that.
And the fact that, it hadn't really been explored to any degree whatsoever, as far as we know, does raise certain questions. But yeah, we don't know if he knew anything. We don't know if McQuarrie, if that was actually said to McQuarrie, if Bradley actually heard these exact words.
Both Bradley and Schiano deny it.
20 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. I think it's fair for somebody to ask, what did he know? What didn't he know when he's working with Jerry
Ohio
Sanders?
State said they asked the question, asked and answered. Tennessee, as far as what Curry's competence was on this, so we vetted and we talked to Ohio State. A trustee at Penn State said the same thing. Here's another question. How badly devalued is the remnants of this Tennessee job right now, even if they fill it at 4 o'clock? I mean, it's been irreparably. It's comedic.
I don't think it's irreparable. I think it's still. No, I don't.
You're 0 for 11. You fired the AD and bungling the process. It's a Tinder joke.
I think these strong programs, historically strong programs, even if they've had a down decade or two, whatever it may be, they're positioned to come back because football remains a priority at some schools.
But I would like to see them, and I know they won't. I would like to see them go in a new direction with some younger blood. Like Ryan and I were talking outside, like. Is sports industry, the coaching profession, AD, like the only one where you just get paid more and more and you don't hire the young people?
The Giants went young. They went very young.
A lot of money at stake.
Look at you tying it all together. Like, I would love to see them go away from.
Speaking of money in a very serious sense, as we continue next, we'll all be speaking live with